G'day guys, welcome to the AMD Modern Manifest build number 2. You have a chance to win this custom computer, so keep an eye out on this video, watch the whole thing, check it out, and also use it as a guide to help you guys at home create some simple mods and DIY things that you could do to your own PC just to make it that much more better. If you'd like to win this custom computer, please check down below. I'll leave a link on how to enter, and also leave a comment down below. That is right guys, today we'll be modding the Corsair Car by Series Air 240 for you guys. Now the mods that we are going to be doing to this are simple DIY mods that can be done from home. So if you guys want to take some tips and write them down, or just visit the video again just to sort of see how to do things, and hopefully you guys can try this at home. So guys, what we have done here is we have taken the whole build apart. All the panels are detachable, and we have taken the grills out and we're going to paint them white. So it's always good to prime before you paint. However, this paint has built-in prime, so we are right there. We're just going to lay down 3 coats of white on there, and then we're going to cover it with a clear. Now the clear will give it a nice finish, as well as help protect it from any little scratches or anything that could happen. Shake the can well before you use it, and always make sure you do a test strip just to make sure that there is no cloggings in the lid. Now your first coat of white paint, you really want to apply it just very easy, not too much. You just want a really thin layer of the white paint over it. If you apply too much, you're just going to get air bubbles and just splotches and a big mess everywhere. So really thin, and just hold back on how much paint you use. On coat number 2, it is always good to still hold back on the amount that you use. You really do not want to overdo it. You want to take your time and get the best possible finished result that you can get. Once again, make sure you do the test strip. If it clogs, you'll get an uneven spray, which could lead to a bad finish. Coat number 3, our final coat. This is where you can add a tiny bit more paint onto it. You still don't want to go too much, because you want to try and keep it as clean as possible. What I like to do for the final result is turn the whole project around. Now the reason for this is when I'm spraying my final coat, it's going to be coating any areas that I've missed due to the angle that I'm spraying at. So one tip when painting, if you are painting something that isn't completely flat, then spray it from different angles so you can get a nice even coverage over it. Also, don't forget to go around all the edges of the panels just to make sure that all the edges are coated with a nice white color as well. You want to try and get the best looking finish and the best possible result. And finally, add your coat of clear just like you've been adding each layer of paint. Modification number 2 for this build is actually pretty much just the same as a PSU cover, the exact same method that you would make a power supply cover, so pretty much take this as a power supply cover tutorial. Now what I've done here is I've measured out the exact lengths that I need for the bottom of the case. Now I only need a small bend in mine, but you guys will need a decent sized bend if you want to cover a power supply. So what I've done is I've grabbed my acrylic, I've marked out my dimensions, I've grabbed a spare piece of wood, and now I'm just clamping it on. What this does is it holds it in place and makes for a nice clean straight bend. First step is to peel back this section of protective film that is on the acrylic. Now the reason for this is we are going to be heating up this area, so we don't want the film there, we just want to heat evenly. Grab your heat gun and start applying heat evenly. You want to go back and forth, making sure that one section isn't getting too hot and the other is still cold. Now what I'm doing is I'm holding the back of it up, so it'll start to sort of bend itself. When it starts to bend itself, that's how I know it's ready. If you go for too much longer, you'll start getting bubbles in the acrylic. However, it wouldn't be such a big deal because this is the bottom of the power supply cover, so it's not going to matter too much. But if you want a perfect finish, just hold it up. When it starts to bend itself, you naturally just fold it yourself into a 90-degree angle and let it rest for a second. Do not try and use water or anything like that to try and cool it down, just let it cool down itself. The next step is to cut all of the excess acrylic off, making sure that you have a nice clean finish. You want to use some tools that won't chip into the acrylic. I'm using a jigsaw, but I'm using a really fine blade, so if you don't have a proper blade for cutting plastic on the jigsaw, then I would recommend using something like a scroll saw or perhaps a Dremel. After you have cut all the acrylic, give it a nice sand, and for the final finish, wet the sandpaper a bit and give it a wet sand. It really makes for a nice finish on the sides of the acrylic. Now that I've cut the cover down to size, it is time for me to glue some acrylic pieces on. Now I'm actually using an acrylic based product. What happens is it goes on as liquid and dries as acrylic. That's what I'm using, but for a normal power supply cover you don't need to do this step. All you simply do is bend your acrylic and you put it over the power supply and it'll sit there. Now the reason I'm doing it this way is because I want the back piece flush against the motherboard tray in the case. If I didn't do it this way and I made a bend, then there will be a bit of a gap there, and I really think that this will be much cleaner. Now that our acrylic has dried, it is time to put our logos onto the cover. Now logos are very easy to make and very cheap to get. You can just get someone to make you one, or you can go to the local office store and you can get some sort of double-sided paper. It's sticky on one side and on the other it's not, and you could actually print out onto there the logo or design of your choice and simply cut it out and stick it on. Okay guys, so now it is time to paint. What you want to do is exactly the same as our first modification. 3 coats of white on the back. Now we're using white because light can get through white. So we're going to paint the back white and we're going to paint the top of it black. So I'm not going to show you all 3 coats of this and the clear. You guys know what to do from the first modification we did, but I am going to show you the first coat. Still make sure you put it on lightly. Exactly the same idea as the previous modification. Now we're painting straight over the vinyl, and this is going to leave it white underneath, and this is key to making that nice illuminated logo that we're after. Now that everything is dry, it is time to peel off our vinyl to reveal the white underneath. Simply use a sharp object, don't scratch at it, you don't want to ruin your job. Take your time, go carefully, and make sure it looks good. And here is the final result, guys. We have the grills painted white. Really makes the build pop. I really like the addition of the white on the outside there. And then we have the white and black cover on the inside. You can hide any cables in there if you like. You just add some LEDs of your choice underneath, perhaps even some RGB LEDs, so you can change it to whatever color you want, whatever color theme you want the build, and it will make for a nice, clean, fantastic looking build. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please subscribe, comment down below if you like it, give it a try at home, let me know how you go, and as always, we'll see you in the next video. Click here to check out our latest custom PCs that we've built from scratch. Do you have a PC you want featured on the channel? Well, click here to see what other PCs have been featured. Are you into gameplay? Click here to see our latest gameplay content. Thanks for watching, guys. Your feedback is always helpful, so be sure to leave a comment down below and we'll see you in the next one.